Let the boy watch. He needs to learn the way I learned from my father.
Welcome back to Banging the Can, the Houston sports show that does not apologize for championship rings and tings, presented by Bolen Media, with new episodes dropping every Monday and Friday. I am Ross Bolen, and we've got a huge week of Houston sports ahead. A huge week, an absolutely massive week of Houston sports right in front of us. First off, this upcoming Monday, your 2-3 Texans will face off against the 4-2 Seattle Seahawks on Monday Night Football. Buccaneers-Lions, of course, got the 6 p.m. slot, so the Texans game starts at 9 p.m. on Monday night, which is absolutely insane. For those of you who have little kids or jobs that require you to wake up before 7 a.m., I will be suffering with you. Just killing me, man. I hate this shit. There should be one Monday night football game. One. Everybody gets one. The NFL is getting greedy, and they're diminishing the meaning and value of Monday Night Football with these freaking double headers, man. Sad, very unfair. Regardless, this is a huge game for the Texans. The Seahawks are another formidable challenge for this team to show who they really are early in the season, and really every game moving forward is going to be huge for the Texans, because apparently the AFC South is no longer a laughingstock. The Indianapolis Colts, led by Daniel Jones, are 5-1. They're 5-1, and they look legit. The Jacksonville Jaguars are 4-2 and have been overall fairly impressive. So there's very little room for error for this Texans team, who is playing a first-place schedule and absolutely needs to make the playoffs to feel good about where the franchise is at. They have to make the playoffs. Missing the playoffs for the Texans in year 3 of C.J. Stroud's era, of the DeMeco Ryans era, when they've made the playoffs the first 2 years and won a game in the playoffs each of the first 2 years, would be a total disaster. They cannot miss the playoffs. And because of the extremely unfortunate and disappointing 0-3 start to the season, and how well the Colts and Jags have started the season, kind of up against it here. They need to feel the pressure a little bit. Every single game is going to matter, and it's going to matter even more because we are playing this first-place schedule where we have mostly legitimate opponents. So the Texans are currently 3-point underdogs for this road game on Monday Night Football against the Seahawks. The Seahawks have been really proficient on offense so far this season, ranking top 5 in points per game, but their defense has been stout as well, allowing the 6th least amount of points per game. Their passing game with Sam Darnold at the helm has been surprisingly good. They're a top 5 offense in terms of yards through the air. They're not great on the ground. Their defense gets a lot of sacks. Solid defense in Seattle. So I don't really know what to expect here, especially coming out of the bye week. It felt like the Texans offense had picked up some momentum in weeks 4 and 5, obviously, and we desperately need to see that momentum in Nick Caley's offense carry over in Seattle, because I think we're going to have to score at least 24 points to have a chance at beating the Seahawks. And like I said, their defense is not bad. All that being said, I don't know, man. I look at Sam Darnold, and I look at the teams that Seattle has beaten, including New Orleans and Arizona, who both absolutely stink, and there's no reason, with our defense being as good as it is, that we can't win this game. So I love the Texans +3, but I'm obviously incredibly biased as a Texans fan, and frankly, as I mentioned, the bye week scares me, because you never really know what to expect coming out of that bye week, you know? It's like a microcosm of this would be how I never really know what to expect coming out of halftime as a Texans fan. Will we make adjustments? Will they be the right adjustments? Will we look like the same football team we did in the first half? You just don't really know. But I'll say this, the Texans are as healthy as an NFL team can possibly be at this point. So there's really no excuses. And this is an opportunity, 9 p.m., Monday night, to go and show the NFL that regardless of the 0-3 start, they are still legitimate playoff threats and deserving of respect. So we will see what happens, but I'm a little scared. Shifting focus now to the Houston Rockets, who just last night finished their preseason at 4-0. 4 wins, 0 losses, and some extremely impressive play, including beating the dog shit out of the Atlanta Hawks A team last night to close out preseason play without Kevin Durant, without Amen Thompson, Alperen Sengun, Jabari Smith Jr., Tari Eason, Steven Adams, or Clint Capella. We basically ran the B team out there, and the B team beat the brakes off the Hawks. So again, it's preseason. It is not advisable to overreact to these results, but certainly with a new star and Kevin Durant needing to gel with his new team and having lost our starting point guard, Fred VanVleet, likely for the entire year, this Rockets preseason felt like the most important in recent memory. And they were locked in, playing hard, scoring like crazy, averaged over 130 points per game in their 4 preseason games, scoring 122, 140, 130, and 133 points. That is a lot of scoring, especially for a team that the 2 seasons prior to this one were grounded in defense. And now suddenly we're putting up 130 fucking points a game. Again, it's preseason. I don't want to overreact, but like the offense looked absolutely incredible. And that was without the starting point guard, Fred VanVleet. So again, it's preseason, and I know it doesn't matter, and I don't want to overreact, and we're not supposed to give it any credit at all, or we're being foolish and insane. But like, did you watch the games? Did you watch the games? They were balling. And they were playing hard. It was not like some sloppy bullshit preseason nonsense. Like, you can tell this team feels I think a fly just flew into my mouth. Feels the potential. They know how good they can be. They know what's at stake. They know how big of a deal it is that the front office went out and got Kevin Durant. They know how big of a deal it is that Kevin Durant waived his no-trade clause and said, that's the place I want to go. I want to go play with these kids. They know how big of a deal that is. If you've seen any of the interviews that came out, they interviewed all the young core, asking them like when they found out Kevin Durant got traded and where they were and what they were doing when they got the word. And every single one of them was worried that they had been traded in the trade. Nobody wants to leave. These guys all want to be here. KD chose them, and he's inarguably one of the greatest scorers in the history of basketball, who still very much has his A game offensively, even if he's lost like a quarter of a step, maybe, and a little bit of explosiveness, maybe. Like, Kevin Durant is still that dude. This team has a real shot to win. KD, by the way, it seems like he fits in flawlessly with this team. And, I mean, I normally struggle to care about preseason, but these 4 games were extremely fun to watch. This is just arguably, and I don't want to jump the gun, but like arguably one of the coolest and most fun to watch Rockets teams we have ever had. Like, the only thing in recent memory that comes close is, of course, from the James Harden era. But even that, like, even during the height of it, when we had CP3 as well, it never felt as complete of a team as this Rockets team does. And there weren't as many highly likable players, highly likable young players that we are emotionally attached to because we've gotten to watch them develop on that Rockets team. There are on this team. And for that reason alone, like, it's so easy to buy into these guys and believe in them and care about them and love them and want them to win, which makes it, that's what sports are all about. That makes it so much more fun when you feel personal attachment to the players on your team. And in the case of Kevin Durant coming in as a veteran, like, KD gets a really bad rap from the NBA fans on the whole as like a ring chaser, like, oh yeah, you got 2, but you only got him because you rode Steph's coattails, even though KD won Finals MVP both times. And as like some kind of internet troll, I like Kevin Durant. I've always liked Kevin Durant. And for those of you who are Kevin Durant naysayers, like, I know I mentioned this after the trade was made, but my dad was one of you. My dad was like, I don't know about this guy. I don't like this guy. You know, he represents a part of like millennial culture that the boomers have a hard time identifying with. And I told my dad, I was like, just pay attention. Watch his interviews. Watch the way he handles himself with the young players on the team as the veteran presence who's there to give guidance and leadership and to teach. And And if you really pay attention to Kevin Durant and you actually get to know him on a more personal level, as much as you can anyway through the media, he's impossible not to like, in my opinion. Point is, my dad has already come around. He's been shooting me Kevin Durant interview clips for a few days now, being like, I get it. No, I was wrong. I really like this dude. He's incredibly cool. I like this dude a lot. He's just more normal than most NBA players are. He's not afraid to admit that he gets a kick off trolling people on Twitter, which is some regular person shit when he's, worth $150 million or however much he's worth at this point, probably more like $300 million if I had to just take a random shot in the dark, which is what I'm doing. But Kade is awesome. The team is extremely likable. All the young guys are awesome. It's going to be an extremely fun season. And like I said, the preseason was really fun to watch. And perhaps most importantly, in the final game of the preseason last night, with all the quote-unquote starters out, 21-year-old white boy Reed Sheppard was a flamethrower. 29 points on 12 for 22 shooting, 5 for 13 from behind the arc, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals, 3 blocks, plus 11 in 29 minutes. Sheppard got pretty minimal reps last year. Minimal, meaningful reps last year as a rookie. Mostly got meaningful minutes during garbage time of games that were blowouts. So it was a little difficult to imagine how he would perform with a more prominent role on this Rockets team. But with the injury to Fred VanVleet, suddenly Reed Sheppard is in the spotlight, and this is just one man's opinion, but I think this kid is ready. Ime Udoka has said the starting lineup for the Rockets will be fluid the first month or so of the regular season. Month, maybe 2 months, that the fifth starter is going to be fluid. Some games it might be Steven Adams. Some games it might be Reed Sheppard. And I absolutely understand why. I get it. I understand the strategy. I'm not knocking it. You don't want to put too much pressure on a 21-year-old who is still developing his NBA game. But I've seen enough, man. For me, I've seen enough. Reed Sheppard is going to be the starting point guard for this team. It is just a matter of time. I think there are concerns around his size at 6'2", but Steph Curry is 6'2", Kyrie Irving is 6'2", I'm 6'2", and those aren't realistic comps for Reed, obviously, but I'm just saying, being 6'2" does not disqualify you from being a competent point guard in the NBA. I'm white, and I'm 6'2", and I'm extremely stoked about this. Feels like a win for 6'2" white guys, Reed Sheppard does. So I'm trying really, really, really hard not to overreact to Reed Sheppard's seemingly high ceiling, as I'm sure Ime Udoka and Raphael Stone are as well. But for all the Rockets fans who are still yelling about how they should trade for or sign a veteran point guard for the league minimum or whatever, shut your ignorant mouth right now. I genuinely don't think you could find someone who is better than Reed Sheppard is right now on the open market. Right now. Right now, he's that good. Much less how good he's going to be after he gets meaningful regular season reps. Remember, Raphael Stone drafted this kid with the number 3 pick overall in the 2024 draft. So clearly he saw the potential, and they've been trying to let him develop behind Fred VanVleet and get him bulked up some. But sometimes in life, fate intervenes and forces your hand, and that's what happened when FVV went down with injuries. So the Reed Sheppard era, to me, has begun. It's inevitable. It's an inevitability. It's simply a matter of when Ime Udoka feels comfortable enough naming him the starting point guard. But I am telling you, that is going to happen. It just doesn't really make sense for it not to happen. And I'm not saying there might not be games where Reed doesn't start because the matchups don't make sense or something like that. If Ime wants to do things strategically as far as running that, the fucking massive lineup or whatever, that shit might still happen. But Reed Sheppard looks like, and I'm doing my best to keep the hype at a minimum, but I'm telling you, he looks like he could be that dude. And again, keep in mind, the presence of Kevin Durant and really also Amen Thompson and even Alperen Şengün takes so much pressure off Reed Sheppard. He doesn't have to do anything too crazy. Just protect the basketball, make the right reads. Don't hesitate to shoot when the ball finds you and you're wide open because one of the 3 superstars on the floor with you between Kade, Alp, and Amen are getting doubled. Reed looked more than competent defensively as well. Great hands. You saw the stats I read out, man. He was filling up the stat sheet. Steals, blocks. he can play some defense. He's just a little smaller, you know? Doesn't have as much experience as Fred did, obviously, especially when it comes to postseason play and making a championship run and becoming a champion. But, like, you got to start somewhere. So, again, I understand Ime's hesitance to put too much on Reed Sheppard too quickly, but the kid is ready. Let the boy play. He has watched enough. Let the boy play.
Let the boy watch. He needs to learn the way I learned from my father.
Another young player I've been extremely impressed with is J.D. Davison, who was most recently on the Celtics G League team. This dude is explosive. Crazy energy on defense. Davison has hands, grabbing steals, throwing down poster dunks, and I mean real poster dunks. Multiple wow moments from J.D. Davison this preseason. I'm not sure where he fits into the rotation. Like, I don't know where he fits in rotation-wise, but I would like to see more of that psycho. This team is going to be crazy. This Rockets team is going to be crazy. I keep seeing mainstream sports media outlets predicting the Rockets to have like between 45 to 47 wins. And like, I think the Vegas line is now at 52.5, if I'm not mistaken. I guess the media outlets are all assuming, like I'm talking about like the Ringer, ESPN. I guess they're all assuming we won't be able to stay healthy. Like, I guess that's what it is, because I'm telling you, if Kevin Durant is out there, Amen Thompson, Alperen Şengün, Jabari Smith Jr., Steven Adams, like, these fuckers are winning 50-plus games, without a doubt in my mind. I think they're going to curb stomp most of the NBA teams. You cannot keep up with their scoring. They can run out these insane lineups, literally the biggest lineup in the history of the Houston Rockets franchise. The biggest lineup the Houston Rockets franchise has ever put on the floor, with Durant, Amen, Adams, Jabari, and Şengün. They've got so much length. What the fuck are you supposed to do with that? What are you supposed to do with that? How do you score against that lineup? You've got a top 5 all-around defender in the league in Amen Thompson. You've got Kevin Durant, who has the wingspan of a fucking pterodactyl. You've got Steven Adams, who is an immovable force. Jabari Smith Jr. and Şengün are no defensive slouches themselves. How the fuck are you supposed to score on that lineup? I don't understand how people are supposed to compete with that. And they're anchored by their defense, like an incredibly talented offensive team that has built a defensive identity. And I'm not sure how you're supposed to stop the offense when Kade, Şengün, Amen, and Jabari are all on the floor at once. How do you handle that? They added another serviceable big in Clint Capella, who we all know and love. I think Reed Sheppard is ready to bloom. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, this year could be crazy. There's a reason that before Fred VanVleet went down, we were the second overall favorite by Vegas odds to win an NBA championship this season, behind only the Oklahoma City Thunder. And it's because the talent on this roster is undeniable at this point. And no doubt losing Fred hurts. It sucks. That's your veteran floor general that was supposed to be the offensive fucking, like the pillar of the offense the whole season. But like, I believe in Reed Sheppard, one, which might be a personal problem, but I don't think I'm wrong. I really don't think I'm wrong about Reed Sheppard. I think he could be better than Fred in like 2 years, maybe this year. Who knows? Dorian Finney-Smith isn't even fucking playing yet. Remember that guy? We added that guy. There's another top-tier, versatile defender right there who can guard arguably all 5 spots on the floor. So I'm ready. Buckle up, Rockets fans, because it's finally time for liftoff. First regular season game is this upcoming Tuesday to kick off the entire NBA season against the Oklahoma City Thunder on national TV, on NBC. Ring ceremony before tip-off. It's going to be exciting stuff. It's going to be exciting. That'll do it for today's show. Remember, we have new episodes dropping every Monday and Friday on typical weeks. We're available on all the podcast platforms, as well as youtube.com/@bangingthecan. If you are watching on YouTube right now, I demand you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, turn on notifications so you know immediately every time we drop a new episode, and leave a comment in the comment section. I'd love to hear from anybody that's got thoughts on the upcoming Texans-Seahawks matchup. I'd love to hear from anybody in the comment section who's got thoughts on what they thought of Reed Sheppard over the course of the preseason, what they think about what they've seen from the Rockets so far. All those things help us grow as well. So if you're on YouTube right now, please subscribe, like, turn on notifications, leave a comment. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star rating. Write a couple sentences in the form of a review. That helps us a lot. If you're on Spotify, give us a 5-star rating. You can also watch video on Spotify, not just listen. Just an FYI, if you love watching the videos and you're a Spotify user and you want to go that route instead of YouTube, I don't care where you watch or where you listen, as long as you do it, please share the most unapologetic Houston sports show in existence with your friends and family. We need more people. We need more people. We got to grow. If you ain't growing, you're dying. Also, follow us on social media at Banging the Can on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Threads. I'm Ross Bolen. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at WRBOLEN, at WRBolen on Twitter and Instagram. Those are the two places I stay the most active. I'll be back Tuesday next week, not Monday. Tuesday next week so that we can discuss the results of Texans Seahawks. Tuesday episode next week. Put it in the calendar. Turn on notifications. Until next time, H-Town, stay down.